Hello and welcome back to Troubleshooter Abandoned Children. It's been a while because I've just been very busy recently, so I haven't really had the time to focus on recording one of these. But yeah, now we're going back in. I think there's been 2 or 3 updates since I last played, so I don't know how much I've got to catch back up on, but we'll just see. Let's have a look. Also, as always, I probably will not remember most of the voices of given characters. Magenta Street, Night Market. Magenta Street, Black Market, Back Alley. I'm assuming we're going right back into a mission without going to the base first, because that's just how it usually goes. The way I've walked. After the serpent Tri-Stars disappeared, heavy summer rain showered upon Misty, who was half conscious. You dummy. I told you not to act by yourself. Your weaknesses? Not relying on your teammates, I suppose. Misty, please. You give me anxiety every time you put yourself in danger. You're not a hired gun anymore. You don't need to act alone to hide yourself anymore. I don't agree with you still. Take whatever help you need from Calamity. Shut up. I already know that. Misty had been saved from the brink of death with the help of MASH. But she soon found herself trembling with a chill after the pain diminished. Damn. At this rate I'll freeze to death. Misty tried to pull herself together and find a solution to her current predicament. But nobody came to her aid in this lonely, dark alley. Not again. Hey, wake up. Peter? Hey, you. I said wake up. How did he find this place? Don. Relax, Peter. Her wounds are already healed. Come, ride on my back. I mean, that wound doesn't look healed. It may have stopped bleeding, but it's not healed. Misty woke up and found herself riding on someone's broad, warm back. You recognize me? Misty barely regained consciousness at the sound of a familiar voice. Where is this place? Am I being carried? She tried to look in the direction the voice was coming from, but she was too tired to even open her eyes. So she just called his name, closing her eyes. Peter? Yep, that's me. So it's you who found me. I was lucky. What brought you there? It would be too convenient if you were just passing by. Misty joked with a shaking voice, even as she was on the verge of fainting. Seeing Misty this exhausted almost brought him to tears. One of your co-workers called me. He didn't say who he was. Yeah? He said he couldn't contact you and asked me to find you. Robin, I guess. But man, I know that you get into some dangerous jobs, so I couldn't come here alone. You could have just ignored me. That's why I asked him to come with me and help find you. Misty opened her eyes with the last of her strength. She saw some familiar clothing. Huh? They were the grey garbs of that bartender she had been saying hello to every morning as of late. She finally saw who was carrying her. Damn, what brought you here, bartender? Suddenly, a burst of laughter came out of her. You were expecting someone else? Not at all. Thanks for helping me, I mean it. Anyone would help a lady lying in a rainy street. But we're not the ones you need to thank. It was someone else who found you lying around there. What? As your bloody clothes show, you had a grievous injury, but it was also healed by someone else. I don't know the reason why that guy who healed you left you lying on the floor, but that healing saved your life. Oh. Can you move? She exerted herself to move, but her body just wouldn't listen. Sorry, guess I'm on this ride for a little while longer. Okay, hold on. My car is just around the corner. Aren't we taking her to a proper hospital? I think she's just exhausted. Bleeding stopped, and even her gunshot injuries were healed. Okay, so they were actually healed, never mind. Seems like a healer saved her.
It must be Anne who saved me then.
I very much doubt it. Another joke, huh? Must have been a rough life you had growing up.
You could tell that just by my jokes.
I'm certain that you'll be okay after a couple of days of rest. But who knows? I'm going to take you to a pharmacy I know in Shooter Street. Well, he's more of a life-saving doctor than just a simple pharmacist. Oh, don't worry. He's saved numerous people of the underworld, so he won't ask a thing and keep everything a secret. Criminal wasn't a word she expected to hear from Dawn. He should only know her as an employee of Calamity.
And you're not asking any questions about what happened to me? Or did he already tell you everything?
What? I ain't that kind of man. I'm not asking you anything because I don't care about you.
I see.
As the conversation slowed to a halt, only the sound of rain remained, filling the empty space.
I'm sorry. You saved me and I'm still being selfish. Don't mind. We're all the same kind of people here.
And yeah, he's more than that. He's this town's legend.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were just a bartender.
Peter, carry her yourself if we're going to talk about me.
Well, hey, I really think more people should know about you.
Legend.
I guess he's also got a long story.
"16 years ago, war orphan concentration camp of Front Armor, a tiny speak. In the middle of the World War, the Atta Empire was at the heart of the fighting. But after the war, the Empire found itself in the midst of a refugee crisis. The combined results of the Karas Union and the Atta Empire's scorched earth tactics turned the formerly generous lands of Atta into a barren wasteland. The people of the Empire who lost their homes had no choice but to flee to the capital, Terre, or the Front Armor duchies near Terre. Eventually, Valerius III, the Emperor of Atta, had to give imperial land to the people and took from the imperial treasury to support the restoration of the barren lands. The Emperor's preemptive generosity was enough to calm the anger of the people, who had been on the brink of rebellion. 4 years after the war, most of the refugees were able to start a new life in their new homes. Except for 300,000 war orphans who were becoming another problem for the Empire. Most of them were children who lost their families during the war, were abandoned due to poverty, or were born from war crimes. The Empire had known they were a problem that would eventually have to be dealt with after the war. But since they weren't mature enough to show dissatisfaction or strong enough to group up and rebel against the Empire, they were always considered less important than other problems. Misty was 5 when she arrived in the refugee camps and spent another 4 years there.
Hey, you want a piece of me? I'm sorry.
Every time food was distributed, there was total mayhem. Since there were not enough rations for the children, fights always broke out when lining up to receive food. Even if one succeeded at getting their food, it was normal for them to be robbed or mugged in plain sight. The overseers of the camp didn't even bother and only took action when the situation got extreme. Because there were never enough overseers to control all the orphans. Tired and ill-supported, overseers found no difference between the orphans in the camp and vermin on streets searching for food in dumpsters. So the orphans had to stay on their guard to protect their food and eat their hard-earned meals as fast as they could. This is the one I told you about last time. Misty at 9. She looked back when somebody touched her shoulder.
Ah, she's prettier than I thought.
And she's nastier than you can tell at a glance.
Is that so? She doesn't seem particularly misbehaved.
Since there's a lack of resources in our camp, bigger kids tend to rob the smaller ones.
Rob? You mean that's what happens between children?
Yes, in the case of scarcity, the only way to live in abundance is to take away the other's rations.
I thought it was your duty to keep them healthy.
You know we can't control every corner of the camp.
So, what's her story?
Usually, kids tend to give up on their belongings when they're exposed to danger. This one never did until we came in to calm the situation.
Oh. It appears I'm failing to see her true value here.
Ah, I should have been more precise. She's never won a fight against the other kids. Hmm? She just gets the hell beat out of her. What? Yep, I mean it. She just stays still without fighting back. Recently, there was a brutal attack against her by the leader of a gang of orphans in this camp. I think he was somehow annoyed by her. From the overseer who witnessed the incident, she stayed on her feet after being struck over 100 times, and the boy was so exhausted he knelt before her. You know, earlier when you said you can't control every corner of the camp, you know, that argument kind of goes out of the window when you have an overseer who saw an incident and saw someone being struck over 100 times. That's a long time frame. Pascal chortled heartily after hearing the overseer's anecdote. Did I say something strange, sir?
No, not at all. Keep going.
Feeling awkward, the overseer kept talking while scratching his head. There must be some exaggeration, since I'm not the one who witnessed it, but it's true that from that day on, no one has dared to attack her.
Of course, there are easier prey than her.
Belladonna scanned through the other children of the camp.
Director, can we keep her too? Absolutely. She's an interesting subject. Brilliant. We're taking her too.
Yes, madam. The Empire executed a policy which reassigned the war orphans of concentration camp to private institutions to solve the problem. And the criminal organization Vendetta took advantage of this policy to accomplish their shady goals.
I'll leave the paperwork to you.
Sure, you don't need to worry at all. Officially, they are adopted by a foreign institute, so there's no way this will be noticed by my superiors. Belladonna handed over a thick stack of bills to the overseer with a smile. The overseer bowed to Belladonna and Pascal with a big grin on his face. Please come back when you need our services again. We've got plenty of kids here anyway. Misty's lodging, third day of her sick leave, full of thoughts. Misty was sniped while she was chasing the Serpent Tri-Stars, and she took her sick leave without explaining the reason to Calamity. First day of her sick leave. As Tim the pharmacist had warned, she spent all day in bed in agony. Second day of her sick leave. She was in bad shape in the morning, but it got better at night. Third day of her sick leave. Misty woke up early, finished her housework, and started to think about her life while sitting on the balcony.
Would my life have been different if I behaved just like other people?
The day she was left alone in heavy rain, she couldn't stop thinking about why her life turned out this unusual. A life of danger and peril. But it was the only choice she had to survive.
You know, since I worked this hard, isn't it unfair for my life to not get better?
Misty talked to her cactus, and the cactus remained silent.
What's wrong with my life?
She kept talking to the unresponsive cactus.
Should I just give up? Nah, I'll take that silence as a no.
Dr. Pascal, Serpent Tri-Stars. Her head is now filled with many things that bind her to the past. "15 years ago, a little island in the southern sea of Adder, Island of Children. A new life has started for those who left the concentration camp. A life with a tight schedule planned by drill masters 24/7. Some of the children who were running at full speed fell on the sandy beach.
On your feet, you maggots! But...
The girl was almost crying about the unreasonable situation she'd gotten into.
Number 37, should I send you back to that damn concentration camp? But... No buts, get on your feet right now.
Children in the front row, not knowing the situation, were surprised by the drill master shouting and started running like bats from hell. She's more passionate than I thought. Julian, the sub-drill master of Group B, smiled bitterly while listening to Vilrosa yelling at the children. Let's see who's in first. Ah, it's him again. Julian stared at number 32, who was outstanding in every aspect. He's kinda tough for a little boy. Anyway, these kids are not that bad. Julian hadn't expected them to handle the drills well when he first saw the children. Most of them were rebellious, had underdeveloped bodies due to malnutrition, and occasionally disorders like ADHD or aphasia. I guess the weird director knew what he was doing. Julian was astonished by the director's management that created these children who were capable of following the harsh training.
Hey, it's a lion.
Mealtime was when the children experienced the most freedom and happiness. From the peaceful atmosphere to the quality and quantity of the meal, the rations they had in the concentration camp could not match what they were provided here. All of them were able to eat their fill as much as they wanted. And here, no one was standing ready to steal their food. Except for one thing.
Not again, another frog shape for me.
The pills and animal-shaped jelly that the dietitian provided to them. Unlike the food that they could have freely, these pills and jellies were different in shape and amount for each child. So it was natural that some curious ones were intrigued by them. Of course they were interested in the jellies, not the pills.
I wonder what the lions taste like.
With curious eyes, he reached for Misty's yellow lion jellies.
Get your dirty hands off, it's mine.
Misty instinctively spoke out. Soon, every child and adult in the cafeteria was staring at Misty.
What? You could talk? 33, 53. What's all this fuss about?
Rosa approached the kids, quickly understanding the situation after looking at the surprised Vetch and angry Misty.
33, get back to your place now. Yes, ma'am.
Afraid of Rosa, Vetch returned to his place. Soon after Vetch was back in his seat, Rosa stared down at number 53, or Misty.
I heard you loud and clear, number 53. Next time, answer properly to me and other drill masters with that loud voice of yours. 53!
Misty remained silent, even though Rosa yelled in her face.
Very well.
Rosa made young Misty look up to her by forcing her chin up with her club.
53, are you going to finish your meal?
Rosa pushed Misty's food tray away with her club. The food tray was almost going to fall off the edge of the table.
Ah!
Misty unconsciously made a sound when Rosa pushed her tray.
I won't ask again, 53. I'm going to put you on fast for 3 days if you don't answer me right away. Are you going to finish your meal? No, I'm not going to finish.
After half a year of silence, Misty spoke while almost crying. I never heard her saying anything. I thought she couldn't speak. It's stupid. Maybe she got cured of her illness. The children were gossiping about her speaking after seeing her communicate with nothing but gestures and blank stares for over half a year.
Quiet! Everybody remain silent when you eat. Those who are late for the next drill will have to meet me at the running track after today's schedule.
The children scattered away and started to eat their meals again.
So, it's not that she couldn't talk, she just didn't. What a nasty child.
While Misty was quietly staring at the floor, Rosa put her hand on Misty's shoulder and said,
Eat more and get stronger. You'll be able to say everything you want when you're strong enough.
Under the warm sunlight, afternoon drill begins shortly after lunchtime. This week's quota is much more than last week's, so stay focused and try to follow the lesson with the right attitude. And for those who don't finish within the allotted time, you know what happens, right? These war orphans never had any chances for a proper education. So most of them couldn't read, and they couldn't even count or make basic calculations. Pascal, the director, provided drill masters with learning materials suited for each individual children every week to cultivate the basic learning capabilities of children while monitoring their academic achievement. For the children who were illiterate, he made them repeatedly write letters, and the children who were poor in math were provided with learning materials with pictures. In learning, you must not be ashamed of acknowledging that you don't know. And you must be ashamed of yourself when you pretend to know what you don't know. So report immediately when you have something that you don't understand. The drill masters made daily reports on the learning progress of the children to Pascal, and Pascal responded with revised lessons. I knew that cram education is efficient, but this is... Well, I guess it's the director's efforts that brought them to this level. Julian disdained this kind of cramming education, as he was raised by Atta's traditional education method that prioritized the subject's interest and motivation. However, as he experienced the results of Pascal's educational method that only considered the child's learning achievement, ability, and understanding, he was reflecting on whether his thoughts were biased. Sir. What is it, 33? I finished my assignment. Can I go out now? Yes, exit quietly to the back door. Yippee! I said quietly, number 33. Yes, sir. The carrot and the stick. Freedom is given to the children who finish the day's assignment. As they experience the fruits of their own labor, they pay more attention in their studies. On the other hand, supplementary lessons throughout the whole weekend and corporal punishment are given to those who couldn't fulfill their goal. As they experience the fear of punishment and loss of freedom, they pay more attention in their studies. And that's it for this week. Soon, Julian finds Misty left alone in the classroom. Number 53. The child considered to be suffering aphasia. It's good to hear that she doesn't have any genetic disorders or brain damage. As she was considered to be having disorders, the learning materials given to her were fairly easier than the others. As a result, she was falling behind on her study. She must work harder to catch up with her peers. Julian approached Misty studying alone. Any questions, 53? Misty nodded her head without saying anything, as she always did. He felt sorry when he saw Misty being the same as usual. Number 53. As Misty looked back on Julian, he put his hand on Misty's shoulder and said, Study more and get smarter. You'll be able to say everything you want when you know everything properly. "14 years ago, a warm spring. Parting children. I'll be going then. Take care. I'm sure you'll mess up and become alone. Don't be too jealous of me. I'll follow you soon. Yep, see you out there." For 2 years they lived together and took harsh drills together. And now, some of them were informed that they're going to be adopted by new parents. When the subject numbers of adopted children were called, they had mixed feelings. Those who wanted to stay, those who wanted to leave, those who wanted to be with their friend. Wanted or not, they became attached to each other. 33, it's time to go. Take care, everyone. Let's meet again when we grow up. 33 was a mischief among the kids. Most of the children hated his pranks, but his cheerful actions also helped smooth the overall tension of the children who were having trouble adapting to a new environment. He was always first to get out into the playground and made jokes at the drill masters, and sometimes he even escaped from the institute. Number 33. He was free at the institute, and it was his home and playground. Need more time, 33? Rosa asked Vetch, who was almost crying right after he bid farewell to his friends. No, ma'am. Vetch looked at Valrosa as he turned away from his old friends. Ma'am, thank you for your care. "13 years ago, a hot summer. Remaining children. Today we're going to learn about flammable chemical substances, which means a substance that is capable of being set on fire and burns quickly when the temperature is right. Let's start with things that we can easily obtain in daily life. Can anyone tell us about them? As some children went away, the atmosphere of the institute changed. Afternoon lessons were changed from basic lessons to expert lessons by drill masters. One can no longer see the children playing outside after class, since it got harder and more overwhelming every day. Gasoline, ethanol, methanol, acetone, nitromethane, isopropyl alcohol, and more. Brilliant, number 40. Can you tell me their chemical formulas too? Yeah, I'm not reading that. Good job. What kind of pointless knowledge is this? The afternoon class had always been cram sessions that didn't care about the students' interests and motivation, but it was at least tailored to each student for their learning. But now it was delivered regardless of one's achievement or skill. This is too hard. Some of the children who felt difficulty started to give up following the class. But the others, including Misty, tried harder, even if they couldn't understand the lesson. Write a report about flammable chemical substances that we learned today and products that contain the same elements this weekend. Assignment, dang. Some of the children gave up fulfilling their quotas and chose punishment. But the others studied overnight as they had to catch up to the class.
Focus your strength on your feet before you fall. Stand straight and raise your chests. The strong person
Is the one who does not fall.
Who are we?
We're the strong. As Volrosa shouted, the children answered through the storm as one. 54, raise your knee.
Yes, sir.
48, don't fall back, catch up.
Right away.
Running through the storm, many of the children failed to complete the drill. But the eyes of the drill masters were looking at those who remained, not failed.
53, can you take the lead?
Misty looked at the two kids who were running in front of her.
Yes, I can.
"12 years ago, snowy winter. Farewell." Time flows and suddenly another child found their new home. Sorry, everyone. Graham always grumbled that he'd be the last one to be adopted. He always talked about the other children's good points and said they're gonna be next. He insisted that people always love cute, handsome, smart, and clever kids. And his grumbling relieved many other children, as he was always last in class and drills. I thought nobody was gonna like me. I'm fat. Even my sister left me because I eat too much. He felt sorry for his friends who always gave him a kind word when he grumbled. A million thoughts crossed their mind. Well, good luck. A farewell from one of them still remaining after a long silence. Thank you. Get lost, you fat pig. And take your fat belly with you. One spoke harshly to hide his feelings. It made the others who were listening sad and himself sadder. Try to lose weight out there.
Goodbye.
Bye. Every child bid farewell. Yeah, it was nice living with you all. I'll call you. "11 years ago, the day after a storm, growing children."
I'll be first today.
Oh, no, you won't. You'll be tired right before the goal if you run like that. Just let them be. These idiots won't listen.
God, are they monsters?
Some children left the institute, but the remaining children never stopped growing. They went on running on the beach, even without the drill masters. I heard that the last kids of Class A are going out soon. Good for them.
Really? I thought you liked that blonde girl of Class A.
Love is for morons. You know, I'm clearly smarter than you two, so shut up. As the children grew, the drills got harder every day, but without the drill masters, the children talked more.
32, 48, and 53. What the hell are you doing? You want to stay with me all day?
Damn hag.
Gotta save myself.
Me too. Mash and Misty had a fist fight. Anyone could see it coming when they harshly argued in the morning. As a result, Misty, Mash, and even Ortega, who tried to stop the fight, had to run through the obstacle course.
I'll consider you as having way too much energy. You really think that all the training is meant for you to fight each other?
Despite Vilrosa's roaring, the children were reaching exhaustion.
Why were they fighting anyway?
I don't know, maybe they got bored.
They used to be quiet when they were young, but recently they're the worst troublemakers of all.
Maybe it's because the kids of Class A are leaving today.
Was it? So it's only us now.
A secret place where children hid from the drill masters.
You're not going?
Going where?
Wait.
Mind your own stupid business.
What's wrong with you two recently? Are you in love with each other?
Misty leveled a withering glare at Eris while Mash made a disgusted grimace. Ortega hid his face, feeling disgusted while Gaia smiled bitterly. We're going to get out soon anyway.
What do you mean?
I've heard the drill masters talking about it.
What?
They say they're going to shut down this place the next year.
Really? Does that mean that we're going out too?
Maybe.
So we just need to stay one more year. Can't believe we need to stay here for another year. What a long face. We've been here for this long. We saw others going out and us being left here. Even the dumbest person can see that we're not going to be adopted.
You're the dummy.
Soon we're going to be adults. We don't need parents now, do we? On the outside, you think we're going to be happy?
With all this training and education, I'm sure we can do anything we want. Bah, we're learning cloak and dagger techniques lately. I don't think that's useful.
Yeah, your stealth technique will be useless because it's so predictable.
I want to be a paramedic when I get out. Not bad. Your healing power will fit. But other than him, the other children didn't have a clue about how to use their skills in normal life. What the Institute taught them was almost about survival and subduing others. A mercenary training camp. That's what this is, I think. Probably. Nothing changes. The war's over and they say it's peaceful out there. We can just start all over and fit our lives to it.
Yeah, and do we really need to worry about our future now? I'll be so happy when the day we leave here comes.
Misty's lodging. Grown-up child. With thoughts about the past coursing through her mind all morning, Misty distracted herself with a game she hadn't yet completed.
Whatever. I thought they were all terminated. How could I have known that they were still alive?
Missed calls from Robin pile up in Misty's call log. But she still played her game all day. Eventually her phone battery ran dry.
Maybe I should stop. No, I gotta finish this. There's no reason for me to stop right now anyway.
Misty stared at her phone, turned off.
Should I call for another day off?
She refocused on her game.
I can't quit right before the boss.
Mash, Ortega, Gaia. As the memories that she had buried in the past haunted her more, Misty poured herself deeper into the screen.
I'm the one who decides my fate.
Alright. I've acquired DLC costumes. Okay. I don't know for whom, but that's fine. What does mission control say? We do have new stuff. This certainly, at least. We're at 34 minutes though. That's kind of an odd time because this is... Well, I mean, I'll probably die immediately, aren't I? So maybe this will only take 10 minutes. But it might also have quite a bit more dialogue. I didn't realize before this that I can actually talk to people. Is everyone full of motivation? Yes, okay. Well, I guess we'll do a little bit more then.
Well, actually, you know what? I will decide. I'll start playing this. And I'll decide based on how long it takes whether I'm gonna cut here and end the episode and the next one comes out in a few days, or whether this will all be included. You'll already know by looking at the time, but I don't know yet. So let's have a look. I just hope I can beat it eventually. I've given up on getting these missions first try, but you know, why not after a couple? Do I have everyone? Yes, I do. Alright then, just commence.